We're getting answers soon about who Auburn will finally be playing every year moving forward.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. We're dapping it up with the Darrell Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, hanging out with us. We'll give our final picks and predictions for Auburn and Oklahoma. I've been all over the place this week. I finally got a settle and pick. Auburn must do a few things to beat Oklahoma. We share our biggest case going into tomorrow's matchup. But news breaks that the SEC will be announcing the new changes to this 9-game SEC slate, including each team's 3 annual opponents. We've been calling them protected rivalries. The verbiage they're going with is annual opponents because they will revisit them every 4 years. Darrell, you got to think 2 of Auburn's 3 are pretty clear-cut. The Iron Bowl, the Deep South's oldest rivalry, obviously Alabama and Georgia. The big question is, does the SEC throw Auburn a bone with that third team? Or do they say, no, we're going to kind of put you with LSU or Florida and make you play 3 pretty good programs every single year?
I like the verbiage changing from protected rivalries because you only have a couple of rivals every year. Let's be honest. I mean, you just do. 1, maybe 2 that you play on your schedule. So the fact that it's just, the annual opponents, I like that verbiage a lot.
Yeah.
I think that it's obvious the first couple years that it's going to be Alabama and Georgia. And then I just think the SEC is going to give Auburn somebody that's perceived a little bit of a level down, because otherwise, that's just a absolute gauntlet to have to do that.
So who would that be? Is that Vanderbilt, which, we'll see what happens with Vanderbilt after Diego Pavia leaves. You got to assume they'll return, maybe not back to where they were before Clark Lee and Diego Pavia, but you got to think it'd be closer to that. Or a Mississippi State or a Kentucky. Like, you thinking somebody in that tier of the conference?
I do. I think you named 3 of the schools that I think Mississippi State, Kentucky, or Vanderbilt is what I perceive. If you look at logistics and you look at geography, obviously Kentucky would be, from a traveling standpoint, the furthest one away. Auburn absolutely shows out in Nashville, whether it's the Music City Bowl or whether it's on the road. I was shocked 2 years ago when I covered that Vanderbilt game. It won't be like that this year when I cover it. It just won't, because of Vanderbilt being better. But Mississippi State, not necessarily a traditional rival. Starkville to, Mississippi State seems like a natural for Alabama because of the proximity between Tuscaloosa and Starkville. So
sure.
I don't know. I don't know what the rhyme or
reason. They care about that. I wonder if they care about the logistics of it. I mean, it's not like it's going to save a ton on travel, or if they even care. I wonder how much that matters.
I think what needs to matter more is a sexy matchup. But you start getting into that, you could get Auburn with LSU or Florida or Tennessee.
I've got a gut feeling it's Florida, Darrell.
Yeah, I know.
I just got a gut feeling, for some reason, I can't shake that Auburn's 3 annual opponents in this new 9-game schedule will be Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. I can't shake it. I don't know why.
The argument there is, and I know there's a lot of people, and in the comments will have their opinion on this, and no opinion is wrong. If you were to poll 100 Auburn fans, I don't care if they're sidewalks, I don't care if they graduated, who is the more perceived rival, LSU or Florida? I'll lay that question at your feet.
Yeah, I mean, I think the age of the Auburn fan, it would matter. I would say LSU, and I think most people my age would say LSU because of the nature of the SEC West scheduling for several years. I think if you were to ask somebody your age or my father's age, they would say Florida.
That stung a little bit how you worded that. I would say LSU, my friend. You are wrong.
I'm so sorry.
LSU stands the test of time with the rivalry. It
I
seriously
think
does.
a lot of older fans would say Florida, though. That's what we've seen.
Well, they could, but LSU is one that it was, when Saban was
I feel like I just
there.
slapped you in the face and
did.
was wrong.
But I love your dad, so that wasn't. I'm not going to take that as me and your dad are peers. That's a good thing. It just makes me. What hurts is that I'm doing a podcast with you, who now is the age of somebody who could be. We've said this before. My son, if you put me on level with.
Well, me and your oldest son are pretty close in age. That is true.
There you go. LSU. Auburn and Florida's played some really good games, but because of the nature of LSU being in the West, Auburn has played them more. They have it got nasty when Saban was there. People remember the earthquake game in 1988, which is more of a folklore type thing. It's just Les Miles eating the grass, doing stupid things, Auburn missing kicks. I could think of about 7 or 8 more, and I'm talking in the last 30 years. You may be able to, like you said, go back 40, 45 years.
Yeah.
And Florida was part of Amen Corner. It's ironic that one of the first years that I was here or moved here, I think Auburn skipped LSU on their schedule on a rotation basis. They missed them one year in the late 80s. So I still think LSU stands the test of time. If you want the 3 most heated rival with the history between the two schools, it would be LSU. LSU.
Yeah, and on the LSU side of it, I would say that their biggest rivals are like Auburn and Alabama are probably up there.
They perceive Alabama to be a bigger rival than Auburn. I get it.
Those games have meant more over the last few years.
And the Saban factor, right? I mean, that
Great
just
point.
So I feel. I mean, this isn't locked on Bama, but if I was to place a wager, yes, even though I like old Luke, he's a good dude.
Luke and Jimmy are great. Yeah,
I would wager that if Luke was doing a show similar to this, Alabama's getting LSU. They're getting LSU, Tennessee, and Auburn. Because the perception is Auburn is that second tier for Alabama that Auburn would be going after with Kentucky, Vanderbilt, or Mississippi State. Let's be honest. That's how Auburn's perceived right now.
Yeah.
So even though it's a rivalry, they're probably going, well, Tennessee and LSU is pretty difficult, but Auburn's been down the last 5 or 6 years. That's throwing them a bone. That's their 3.
And
I would bet
kind of say that with Florida from my point. If Auburn gets Bama, Georgia, and Florida, like the name brand of Florida is powerful, but they've underachieved since Billy Napier has been there.
They have. I mean, Mullen did some good things in a couple of years. The COVID year, he won the East. He beat Muschamp out. Beat Kirby Smart out, and Muschamp, who was at South Carolina at the time. So I think that
was that Mullen that did that, or was that McElwain?
That was Mullen. Mullen took them to an SEC title game against Alabama with Trask. With Trask as the quarterback at Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually had COVID watching that game.
How about that?
First time I ever had it. I was sick as a dog watching that game.
I mean, you had COVID more than once?
I've had it 3 times.
You've had COVID 3 times?
3 times in 5 years. Yep.
Wow.
Something about Italian blood might be more susceptible to it. So I think that, there you go. But I think that Florida is a sleeping giant. Facilities, NIL, boosters, fertile recruiting ground. They have proven in the past when you get the right coach, Spurrier, Urban Meyer, whatever, they win national titles. They are very, very good. So it would be Auburn's luck. They would get Florida, and they would have this great awakening and a rising 100%. In the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, you got to play them every year. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so this starts in 26, and once again, every team will play 9 SEC games. 3 of those 9 will be annual opponents that will be reviewed every 4 years. Then the other 6 will rotate. You will face every SEC team once every 2 years, and every SEC opponent you will play at least 1 home and 1 away every 4 years. And each team is required to play at least 1 P4 opponent or Notre Dame every year. So
before we go to the next segment, this is important. I got to ask you this. It will be reviewed every 4 years. I believe only one of those 3 opponents are really actually going to be reviewed every 4 years. Like they're not going to look at it and
Auburn, that's correct.
Yeah. Alabama and Georgia, I think, are constants. That third opponent in my opinion, is going to be the one that's going to be reviewed every 4 years.
Yeah, and I think I think some schools may have more fluidity with this than others.
Missouri, really? I mean, who's their rivals? It'll be Arkansas, and then
Oklahoma and Texas out other than each other. I think that could be.
Well, Texas will be in a similar boat as Auburn. I think that A&M and Oklahoma will be on there every year.
That's fair with A&M. That's fair. That's fair. All right. Auburn must do this to beat Oklahoma tomorrow. That's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda's moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that move everything forward. Darrell, like Jeremiah Cobb's rushing performance over the last 2 weeks, it moved Auburn's offense forward, especially without Damari Alston. And there are others. There are others, which we'll talk about later in the show. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Wayfair. Darrell, you love Wayfair. I love Wayfair. Half of the furniture in my home is from Wayfair. You bought a sink, a kitchen
sink, and we are putting in hopefully a sun porch, a sun deck, and some of that stuff that's going to go on that in that sun porch is going to be Wayfair furniture.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, our outdoor furniture is from Wayfair as well. So you can cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates, from comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor. You'll find it all for way less at wayfair.com. That is wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. I'll give my must for the Tigers first, if you don't mind. I've said it all week. If you're an everydayer, you know this. Auburn's offensive line must win in the trenches against Oklahoma's defensive line. That includes setting the tone with the rushing attack. That includes Jackson Arnold running the ball. Damari Alston, we assume, will play. Jeremiah Cobb, paving a way for these guys. It also means winning in the pass protection battle. Keep Jackson Arnold upright. The biggest knock against him is he holds onto the football a little too long. Okay, fine. Offensive line, help out your quarterback. The big part of this is consistently move the football 3 or 4 yards every play. Don't get behind the sticks. If you can create long, sustainable drives, you've got a chance to go on the road and win. Sustainable drives are great for ball control, obviously. It keeps John Mateer, the leader for the Heisman Trophy, on the sideline right now. And also, it's tough to be in person watching your defense just give up first down, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, give that up over and over and over again. It's a good way to take the crowd out of it. So offensive line, this is your battle. If they can do that, they've got a chance to win this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You control the line of scrimmage and run the ball effectively to set up whatever Auburn wants to do in the RPO game. Man, if Auburn can sustain those drives, the 6-minute, 7-minute drives, that's not mine. I agree with you. Absolutely. But I want to enhance your offensive line. I could say that with what Oklahoma's offensive line is rumored to be health-wise, just the lines of scrimmage, Auburn can really, really take advantage from a defensive line standpoint if Oklahoma's offensive line is as battered as we think. So if Auburn's offensive line plays well, controls clock, runs the ball, and Oklahoma's struggles, what a tilt that will be. Auburn has to have 2 turnovers. 2 turnovers. And they can win the turnover battle 2-1. I'm cool with that, but they have to have at least 2 turnovers. It could be interceptions, it could be fumbles.
I'm going to say if Auburn generates 2 turnovers, they win the turnover battle.
Yeah, because of the way they've been holding on to the football. They've been doing a really, really good job not throwing it to the other guys, holding on to it from a fumbling standpoint. So get 2 turnovers, and I think that's a really, really big key in beating Oklahoma.
Yeah, I won't push back on that. That's obviously going to be crucial. I think that becomes significantly more unlikely with Jay Crawford being doubtful. I think that's a big deal, Darrell.
I see a scenario where a Strader or a Pleasant or a Lee has a big interception in a territory that allows Auburn to score. And
It'd be huge.
I just think that, there's been talk about Pleasant wasn't just brought to this team to return kicks, that he will help Auburn at some point in the defensive backfield. That point might have arrived. The initial reports, too, people need to keep in mind with these initial injury reports, the key word there is initial. They change from when they're released Wednesday until they're released right before game time a lot of times.
The fact that he was listed as doubtful and not questionable, I think, is a pretty big deal.
It is, but I've seen people go from doubtful to probable in 3 days before, depending on because we know exactly what it is. It's a knee-on-knee deep bruise. It's not a tear. It's not structural damage. It's not a strain or a sprain. It's a knee-on-knee deep bruise that is causing him a ton of discomfort. A lot can change in 3 days with a bruise. I'm not saying it will.
It's a pain thing. I don't think it's an ability thing.
Right.
It's a pain thing.
And if you can't cut and plant and all that as a corner, I get it. You don't need to be out there playing at 50%.
Correct.
So this is why Auburn went out and got Strader and Pleasant for moments like this.
And look, they've got young guys too. We'll see, if Donovan Starr, Blake Woodby get their names called. We know that Durkin is not afraid to play freshmen. Is that part of it? Or look, Champ Anthony was a pretty solid outside corner. I think he's looked better outside than he has inside. Do you have a few situations where you put him out there?
I just wonder, you have to be a little handsy when you play outside corner. And with that, I don't even know if he's wearing the club, if the cast is
that'll
coming
be
off.
Interesting to see. I agree.
So the hand fighting is important as an outside corner. How much can you do? It'd be fun to hand fight with a club. But, how much of that can you really do?
Bringing a club to a hand fight.
Yeah, bringing a club to a hand fight.
How about that?
Like bringing a gun to a knife fight, right?
There you go. All right. So I'm saying for Auburn to beat Oklahoma, the offensive line must win the battle against Oklahoma's defensive line. Darrell is saying for Auburn to beat Oklahoma, the Auburn Tigers must create 2 turnovers. 2 picks. A fumble and a pick. What do you think is the most likely option there?
I'm saying one of each. I see a strip sack.
That'd be crazy.
Kind of like what happened last week, and then I see a pick.
That would be so.
And no, I won't be weak and wuss out and count turnovers on downs. That's not going to count.
Okay.
I could, but I won't.
No, I think that's the right call. Yep. So if both of those things happen, you got to really like Auburn's chances. So we'll see. Our final picks and predictions. I've been all over the place on this. I still don't entirely know what I'm about to say, but that's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's a local sports bar packed on game days, a coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. There are places that bring people together. And look, a big part of business is you don't want to make it difficult for people to pay you money. Darrell, you run a business. That would be terrible. If somebody's ready to pay, you don't want them to have any sort of issue doing
I've been using Square for 10 years. We go to these shows.
Didn't even know that. That's fantastic.
We sell those products, and we just hooked it into our cell phones, and bam. Yeah, if you're at a show, a rally, that kind of thing, we use them. Absolutely.
Yeah, Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world, including Darrell's. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy that you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at DoorDash. DoorDash presents Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players deliver when it matters most. Let's break it down. I'll go with Jeremiah Cobb. Darrell, I've been pretty consistent with his performance over the last 2 weeks. He delivered. Who do you think has delivered for the Auburn Tigers so far this season, powered by DoorDash?
Keyron Crawford's really coming on.
Great.
Big
Love
interception, some sacks coming off the edge. Havoc. Yep.
Yep. And just like Jeremiah Cobb and Keyron Crawford deliver for the Auburn Tigers, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you can save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season long, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. Will the Auburn Tigers take down the Oklahoma Sooners? It's going to be a tough battle, Darrell. I've been saying all week it's 27-24 someone. And based on the day that I recorded the content that dropped, I have gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. My heart wants me to pick Auburn so bad, but I just don't know if I can really get there. I don't think I can get there.
I've changed my score from what I told you before we even pushed record, but I'm going to go Auburn 24, Oklahoma 23. One of the best stories of the year early in college football. Auburn's going to win the game on an Alex McPherson field goal.
Wouldn't that be incredible? Wouldn't that be an incredible moment for several reasons, but obviously for Alex, that'd be awesome.
Yep. 24-23 Auburn.
24-23. That sounds like 3.5 hours of just stress.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of stress. I mean, and I'm absolutely glad that, I'll be in the privacy of a home to deal with that.
That would be insane.
That would be insane. Stress.
I would love for Jackson Arnold to have an opportunity for a drive, a game-winning, opportunistic drive.
Oh, yeah.
And if he steps up to the plate and has the opportunity to look at all these people that have doubted him, that have really come out of the woodwork over the last week to make fun of him and poke him, well, they don't even realize like how bad of a situation their program put him in. What an incredible storyline, an opportunity that would be for Jackson. And then for your specific prediction of Alex McPherson getting the kick. I mean, you talk about redemption and ascension. I mean, you couldn't write it any better than that. I hope it happens. I just don't think. I think I'm picking Oklahoma on Saturday.
What's 27-24?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I also like the narrative that Auburn probably lost that Oklahoma game last year because of a big turnover and a missed kick.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that also gets rectified, right? So that would be another pure justice thing.
Auburn forcing the turnover, then winning
the turnover. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Be poetic. Could be symbolic. Whoever wins this game, whether it's Auburn or Oklahoma, it would be dishonest to have a conversation about the 12-team playoff and not mention the winner of this game. This is a big deal. This is a game that Auburn hasn't been in since Hugh Freeze has been the head coach. This is a big deal with a lot on the line. Unfortunately, it's just away from home. And we'll see, this team responded well in Waco, but Oklahoma is just so much better than Baylor.
Well, it's harder to win in Norman. Absolutely. I mean, like I told you, since 2005, they had the third best home winning percentage. The other point that is very underrated that you made on socials that you put out there with a screenshot was Auburn gets through this game and somehow, splits between this and Texas A&M and upsets Georgia at home. You're like, oh, driver's seat. I don't feel that way anymore. It's every week now. This schedule to me has gotten so much tougher that the perceived, kind of like, oh, now it gets favorable isn't as favorable as it looked like 2 weeks ago. Arkansas for sure better than I thought. Vanderbilt smoked South Carolina on the road.
Missouri's better than I thought they would be.
I did not think Missouri. Now, Missouri, let's see when they get into but they're better than I thought they would be. So, yeah, I mean, that's that you win this game, you just kind of keep on keeping along. It doesn't put you in the driver's seat for anything with the way this schedule is. Even the perceived easier part of this schedule, to me, got a lot more difficult in the last week.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see. Let us know your score prediction in the comments down below. Darrell Dapprich, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Well, Wednesdays and Fridays here, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. And then we'll do the reaction show that'll drop Sunday morning. And then Sunday night at 8:00, we'll kind of wrap up the week with Kyle Rush, me and you on the barn where we go live.
Yeah, and we'll try to do something Tuesday as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Schedule.
I think we've done that for a couple of years, and it's been really cool that we've gone live and had like a reaction to the schedule, and I think we're kind of committed.
Yeah,
to
I haven't seen a
that.
time anywhere yet, but when we get closer to that, we'll we will absolutely keep y'all posted on that for sure. So expect something live Tuesday night. That'll be fun. All right, please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.